Right. Hey, folks, how's it going? I am Faz from Fazlifts. Today, I'm answering the question of how long to take between sets. So firstly, before we get into that, if you could hit like and subscribe if you're watching this video, please, that'd be great. Show me a comment, show me some support, share this around. That would be very useful. I appreciate the support. Now, going on to the main question, what I want to talk about today is rest periods. How long do we rest between sets? And also, as an additional question, talk a little bit about what are the rest periods like for unilateral exercises, so say a single arm row or a split squat. Now, in terms of what the science says, the science as written up by Dr. Brad Schoenfeld says that there's actually relatively little difference between rest periods as long as the volume is equated. As always, volume is a strong component of hypertrophy. So the idea is that the rest periods are not really that relevant. What I will say, though, is in my experience, my practical experience, there is a preference. Now, ultimately, what are we trying to achieve in the gym? We're trying to achieve adaptation to get stronger, which means that, as I always harp on in this channel, you've got to be able to get stronger. You've got to give it your all in these sets. You've got to actually have a strong focus on every single set, a good execution, and really getting the most out of every set, making sure you've got great range of motion, making sure you're putting everything into the set to enable you to get stronger and stronger over time, because each individual session really means very little in the grand scheme of things. The idea is that over the course of 6 months to a year, you're going to get a lot stronger in the style of lifting that you do for whatever exercises that you're doing. That's the goal of training. So whereas the science might say rest periods don't matter, I would say, with a caveat, that remember what the goal is. We're trying to get stronger. We're trying to get bigger. We're trying to get stronger. Now, the problem then becomes if you rest too short and you say you're out of breath, you're tired, your just central nervous system is just shot still from the previous exercise, you're not going to be able to put in the level of effort required to actually do that next set justice. So if you're rushing around like with 30-second rest, a minute rest, and you're not able to actually deliver the force necessary in the next set, then you've got to slow it down a little bit. And this often happens with people who tend to be very well cardiovascularly driven. So let's say you've got a really high level of cardiovascular endurance. Perhaps you've previously done a lot of HIIT work, or you've been a marathon runner, or you do a lot of jogging, and you step foot into the weight room for the first time. You're probably quite weak. So every set that you do, you can recover really well from it. So you're good to go in like 30 seconds. However, your whole psychology might not be ready to put in that maximum effort in that time period. And I often find with people like that who are really into sort of endurance training, they have to really switch their mentality when they come to the gym. Because in the gym, it's not about pacing yourself. You've got to go all out for that set. So the gym mentality is very different from someone who comes from an aerobic background, and that can exacerbate that problem. So overall, remember what your purpose is when you're in the gym for every single set. It is to put your all into that set, is to get the most from every rep of that set that you possibly can, with the overall goal that 6 months down the line, you're going to be a hell of a lot stronger. So progressive poundages, in great form, with moderate rep ranges, everything that I keep talking about, that's the idea. So I want you to rest enough that you're able to put in a solid effort into every set. That is how long you rest. Make sure you're ready to go, both physically and psychologically. You're ready to go, and then go. All right. Remember, the goal is to get stronger. Now, with that said, an additional piece of a little additional question to answer is one about unilateral exercises. So let's say you're doing split squats. How much rest do you take going from the left leg to the right leg, or rows from the right arm to the left arm, etc., etc.? I would say the same principle applies. And what you want to do is you want to ensure you're resting between limbs. A lot of people don't do this. They'll go from a one-arm dumbbell row with the right hand straight into a one-arm dumbbell row with the left hand. Automatically, I know that they're sandbagging the effort. They're never going to be able to put in the required amount of effort to really progress that set from week to week, month to month. They might get a burn, they might tire themselves out, they might hit failure, but I guarantee if you rest a little bit longer between each arm, each limb, you're going to be able to get more reps. You can have a stronger set. You'll get a better mind-muscle connection, all the things that matter for getting better over time. So same with unilateral exercises. Don't skimp on your rest. And as a general rule, I'll take maybe a minute to a minute and a half between limbs. So if I'm doing, like this morning, I was doing a single arm machine row as the last exercise on a back day. So I'll do the set with my left arm. I always lead off with my non-dominant arm. And then after that, I'll rest for a minute and a half or so, then do a set with my right arm, rest another minute and a half, and go from there. So my rest periods per side are as high as 3 to 4 minutes. And that works really well because you are properly recovered. But you're also taking time between each limb and each side because you're going to have some knock-on effect. So you want to alleviate that fatigue. Make sure you take enough rest. Again, bottom line is, remember why you're in the gym. You're not in the gym just to get through your sets and reps, to just survive the workout. You're in the gym to give it your all for every single set. It's not a marathon. It is a sprint in the gym. Go all out for that set, then rest enough time that you can do another all-out burst of activity. So sure, the science shows the rest periods don't matter that much. I would say in practice, you've got to be able to put forward a really good effort on each set. And remember, the overall goal is progression. To do that, you've got to be recovered enough physically and psychologically to really go for the next set. So bottom line, take as much rest as you need to enable you to put in a solid effort into that next set. Hope that was useful. All right, guys, you'll see underneath the video, if on YouTube, there is a link to a Google form, which allows you to ask me a question. So go ahead and click on that link, ask me a question if you got one. And the best questions I will turn into videos just like this one. Also, there's a link if you want to work with me. So go ahead and have an inquiry. We can have a free chat, no obligation chat on the phone for about 5 or 10 minutes, just to talk you through my services, what I offer, and whether it would make a good fit to work with each other. All right, I will sign off there. Cheers.